Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a bunch of makeup products I'm going to be decluttering from my collection. I know I did one of these videos actually back at the very end of 2018, but yesterday I was feeling really motivated to just purge a couple more items from my collection that I haven't found myself drawn to. I'm just not interested in using anymore, and I ended up getting rid of several items. I oftentimes do declutter items from my collection and just not mention it on my channel. I just end up kind of like giving it off to someone and just getting rid of it, and it kind of just flying under the radar. But here I actually have a pretty substantial amount of products from my collection that I'm going to be eliminating, and I wanted to share them with you because these are things that I don't think are bad products, so please don't be offended if some of these are your favorites. I don't think they're bad products at all. Actually, a lot of these are really nice products, and I want to pass them off to someone else who can get really good use out of them because I just have way more makeup than I need. And I'm just not finding myself drawn to using these items over other things in my collection, not because I dislike them, but just because they're things that I've had maybe for a little while, or they're things that are just aren't my personal preference anymore, or things that I'm just not drawn to anymore. And so yeah, I wanted to share these with you. I'm really excited that I'm getting rid of a lot of things. There are some things in here that I'm a little bit like, should I get rid of that? But I know I don't ever regret decluttering things from my collection. Honestly, they're things that I might love them and want to hold on to them, but I also know I'm not using them, I'm not reaching for them, and they're better off in someone else's collection. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with the highlighters. I have two little palettes here I'm passing off. One is the Essence Light Up Your Face Luminizer palette, and the other is the City Color. This is the highlighter trio. This came in an Ipsy bag, and I just have no use for either of these within my collection. I have other highlighters that I prefer over these, and I reach for over these, but I have held on to both of these for quite some time because they're not bad products. They're just things I'm just not reaching for anymore. And the other one that I'm getting rid of, that is an entire ABH Glow Kit, and this has barely been touched in my collection. It seems so crazy. This one looks really used and abused, but I just ended up repressing it when I got it because it was actually crumbled. But this I just don't reach for, and it's not that it's a bad product. I just don't find myself drawn to reach for this over other items within my collection. And I have these kinds of shades, not exact duplicates, but definitely comparable shades in my collection elsewhere that I reach for more often. So I'm gonna pass this off so that it can be loved so much more than I have done with it so far. So yeah, I'm getting rid of several pans of several pans of highlighter from my collection, and I'm actually super excited about that because my highlighter collection is not the largest collection, but it definitely is far more than I personally need. So this is a really good amount to kind of eliminate from my collection, make it a little bit more usable, a little bit more realistic. And I know that there's people in my life who will love these so much more than me. I've got a couple eyeshadow palettes. This one is the NYX Ultimate Brights Shadow Palette. I just don't need these colors when I have other ones in my collection that I find myself reaching for more often. You guys already know that I was going to declutter this, and I'm excited to pass it off because it is a good quality palette. It really is a nice palette. I just don't have a need for it anymore because my eyeshadow collection honestly grew quite a bit last year, and I just don't need this when I have so many other brights that I find myself reaching for more often. And these other two I'm passing off because they're full of neutrals, and I have these kinds of shades time and time again in my collection. The first one is the Essence Shape and Shadows. I'm not even sure that this is available anymore, but the quality of these is actually really nice. And this one is a wax right here for the brows, but the quality of all of these is actually quite beautiful. So I'm gonna pass it off. I just don't need this. I have these kinds of shades numerous times, and same with this one. This is the eyeshadow palette from Joe Fresh in neutrals, and you can see I've actually like used the heck out of this. This is really well used in my collection, but it still is really good quality. It still is holding up really nice in terms of like it's not like expiring or anything like that. So I'm gonna pass it off because I know that actually my sister will quite like this. Another palette, this one is a full face kind of palette. Well, it has a blush, a bronzer, and eyeshadows. These highlighters have unfortunately gone bad. They were cream products. This is the Pacifica Solar palette, by the way. And I adore this palette. I think that these are really nice, good quality cheek and eye products, but I just don't find myself reaching for this, and I don't want to let it go bad because this is a really good quality eyeshadow palette, and this is something that you know, I actually spent quite a bit of money on. Like, I think it was probably like 30 bucks, and I just don't reach for it. I don't find it something that I'm drawn to all that often. So I'm just gonna pass it off while it's still good and usable. And yeah, I do love this. This was something that I was like humming and hawing about quite a bit, deciding whether or not I wanted to get rid of it. But when it came down to it, I feel like the neutrals, like I don't actually have a lot of these shades. I don't have a shade like this one, or this one in my collection, but I have shades that offer me similar effects in formulas that I just enjoy just as much and I reach for a little bit more often. So that's why I decided that this one's gonna go. I'm not gonna regret passing it off, but I honestly was like really unsure if I was gonna get rid of that one as well as this palette here. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. I don't mean to offend anyone. I know so many people love this palette. I just haven't reached for this in quite some time. I put this shade into a project pan about a year ago, and I ended up hitting pan on it, and I haven't found myself reaching for this palette since, because I have these kinds of shades over and over again, and that's a common theme with why I'm getting rid of a lot of these palettes. But I just want to pass this off while it's still good, while it's still usable and enjoyable. So yes, this is going to be leaving my collection, which I was struggling with these two so bad when I was debating whether or not to get rid of them, but it's just time. I have so many pans of eyeshadow. You guys know, if you've seen my pan those eyeshadows kind of project pan, if you've seen either of the videos so far in that series, you know how many pans of eyeshadow I have. So I can afford to get rid of a couple. I'm gonna pass off the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Finish Setting Spray just because I don't have oily skin anymore, and it's quite possible that my skin will become oily again, or at least a little bit more normal again. But I have a lot of setting powders that I'm holding on to because I really do like them, and they're really good quality and good color matches for me as well. So I'm gonna hold on to a lot of my powders because they don't tend to expire quite as quickly as things like liquids and creams. But this is also only a couple bucks, so if I do end up in the future feeling like I really do need a mattifying setting spray, I can pick this up no problem, but I don't foresee that being any sort of issue. So I'm gonna pass it off, and it makes a little bit more space in my drawers, makes me feel a little bit better. So yeah, why not? Just pass it off to someone who's gonna use it more than me. And lastly, I'm gonna be getting rid of several lipsticks from my collection. These ones are all unfortunately expired, I believe, and they're all metallic finishes actually. This one is the Milani Amore Matte Metallic Lip Cream in the shade Matte About You. And I had a lot of fun with this, but I always felt really like uncomfortable in this color, even when I was just kind of like wearing it at home. I just didn't really feel like it suited me all that much. So unfortunately, I think I have to toss this out. I have had this for quite some time. Same with the NYX Cosmic Metals in the shade Speed of Light. You can see I actually got a fair amount of use out of this. Like, there's definitely some space in that tube, but these, I don't even want to swatch this, to be honest. The NYX Cosmic Metals never really set down. They definitely are a true lip cream, and so I was always really like hesitant to wear them because I thought they might migrate or might get caught in my hair. This one also is Fuchsia Fusion. I just don't reach for these because of that formula, and honestly, I'm pretty sure they must be expired by now because I picked them up probably like as soon as they launched because I was super excited about the idea of metallic lips. Actually, there's one last lipstick I'm gonna be tossing. This is Dr. M by ColourPop, and it's really sad that I'm gonna be throwing this away. I honestly have such a hard time parting with my ColourPop lips, but this is the Ultra Matte Finish, and I never enjoyed this on the lips really all that much. I thought the color was so cool and so fun, and now that I've had it for quite some time, couple years at least, this formula has completely changed. It's so dry and it's so cracky. Cracky? Is that a word? Crackly? And I can't even wear it as an eyeliner, which I've done a handful of times with this in the past when it was much more creamy. But I just, unfortunately, I think it's turned for the worse. Like, I just cannot revive it. I can't make it work for me. And nor do I really want to, because I actually have Bite Beauty Kale, which I absolutely love. It's the same sort of tone, and it's just a beautiful formula. So yeah, I'm gonna be unfortunately tossing this. And then I've got a bunch of lipsticks that just need to find new homes because I'm not reaching for them. So this one is a mini of the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks. This one is in, why, I don't wanna say this, this is Naz for a 2. And it's a beautiful red. I just don't find myself reaching for this. I also have a NYX Liquid Suede. This is a cream lipstick. It's a liquefied lip, but it doesn't tend to set down super dry. It definitely has like kind of like a satin lip sort of feel to it. And this is in the shade Life's a Beach. It's super bright, it's super bold, it is really fun, but I just don't reach for it anymore. So I'm gonna be passing off 3 of the Essence Matte 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 lipsticks. I do actually have, I think, 3 or 4 more of these. I love the formula. They're super nice for the drugstore. Like, not for the drugstore, they're just really nice lipsticks, but these are just shades I'm not reaching for anymore because I have either alternatives or they're just not my personal preference. And this first one is in the shade 4, which is more of like a bright pink kind of tone. Absolutely beautiful. And then the next one is number 7, which is like a purple brown kind of color. It's beautiful, but again, just not reaching for it. And the last one I'm giving up is also 8, which is more of a brown kind of tone. And it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I have just not found myself reaching for this kind of shade. And I do have more liquid lips that I'd like to work my way through that I really do like the formula of, like this kind of shade. So I'm gonna pass that off. And then 2 other lips that I'm passing off as well. This one is the one that came in a Sephora birthday gift maybe 2 years ago. And it is the Tartist Lip Paint. It's just a mini and it is in the shade Birthday Suit. I just don't find myself reaching for the shade. Again, I don't go for really pale nudes. So I'm gonna pass that off. It still is good. I've hardly ever used it, to be honest, because I'm not drawn to that kind of color. And this last lipstick is from Joe Fresh. This is the matte finish lipstick in the shade Neon Red. Such a fun, bold color. This is like one of my favorite kinds of shades to wear in the summertime. But I already have like a handful of colors that are pretty much on par with this one, or at least give me the same kind of results. So I am just gonna pass this off so someone else can enjoy it. That's absolutely everything that I'm gonna be passing off, or at least decluttering from my makeup collection. I'm super excited to be giving some of these items new lives, and unfortunately I will be tossing just a couple of those lipsticks, but I'm really, really excited to pass these off and let them see some more love from other people, and to have a little bit more space within my collection and to kind of get rid of that feeling of guilt of things that I'm not reaching for. So yeah, I just really wanted to quickly sit down and film and share with you guys what I decided to get rid of from my collection, just kind of as an impromptu kind of thing. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the items I'm gonna be decluttering. Let me know if there's any items that you've recently decluttered from your collection. And again, no hard feelings if these are some of your favorites. These are like things that I really do love and enjoy, and I have like a lot of like happy feelings about, but unfortunately I'm just not reaching for them, and I'd love to see them have new homes and new lives. So yeah, that's absolutely everything for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.